Oi, folks, this is Tony Sandoval, Big Bear, with the Be Smart Beekeeping Project, based in Omaha, Nebraska, the Great Plains, the center of the best beekeeping country in the world as far as I'm concerned. Today we have a special treat because I finally figured out the software and we get our web guys back, our remote Beehooligans. Today we have a special fun because I got one of our OG, our OB guys. No, that sounds wrong, OB. Yappy, B-Man from Alabama. It's been a day or 10 since we've gotten to talk with you, man.
Yes. I am finally back. I got the computer up and running. The bees are flying. And, man, I am just tickled pink to get to hang out with y'all again and let everybody out there in the beekeeping world have a little bit of fun listening to our craziness.
Oh, I'm saying now. Hey, we got another treat for you because we got a third person again on here. And this fella down in Florida, he's on Instagram. And I thought it'd be cool to kind of cover and bring in some folks that I know that are picking up some attention on different areas of the internet. Instagram is one that's got a lot of beekeeping folks on there doing some. A lot of them is, I mean, stuff I really hadn't seen a lot of before. This guy is one of them. He goes by Ox Beekeeping on Instagram. So if you get out there, folks, look up Instagram, look up Ox Beekeeping. And this dude, he's got, I just love his feed on there because it's just lots of cool stuff. He's into all kinds of different things. Now, today, Ox, where you at, bud? Are you there?
What's up, man? I'm right here. You can hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. Say, hey, you're down there, and we were just talking before everything started that you're out there already doing beekeeping stuff. You're buying paint. We caught you out shopping.
Yeah. In Home Depot, beekeeping, it never stops. Either you building box, checking hives, or painting the box.
And the funny thing is, I just posted a new article on the Be Smart Beekeeping Project website, helping people, give them some information about paint and paint brushes and how to, the best kind of stuff to use for. I mean, it's perfect timing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So now you're down in Florida, and we got Yappy over there in Alabama. You guys have been getting swarms and having fun beekeeping for a while now. Here in Omaha today, literally was the first swarm of the season for Omaha, for our area. It just finally got to the temperatures and consistent enough that we could have swarms. Just last week we still had snow, man. I mean, it's crazy. So I was so jealous, watching Yappy out there just pulling swarms and like he's going fishing, and I'm like, I got nothing. I got nothing over here. So now we got it going on. Now I got you in Florida over there. From what I've seen on your Instagram feed, you're pretty busy down there too.
Yeah, actually, I just pulled out a swarm like 2 days ago, and yesterday there's one about almost 40 feet in a tree right now. So I'm trying to think how I'm going to get it down, if it's going to even be possible. I just let them fly away.
Ooh, Yap, you got any suggestions for a 40-foot high swarm? No? Yap's a fireman, so sometimes he has to go step away and check stuff. So he'll be back in a little bit if he doesn't answer right away. But I know when I've had to do it, of course, usually when I get them that high, it's usually like on the top of a house, or a building. So I just climb right up or get a lift, a cherry picker, that kind of a thing. Or I just hang out over the side of the chimney or something because I'm not particularly bright being South Omaha and all. But,
yeah.
All right, I'm back.
No, there he is.
Down there. Oh, okay. There you go.
No, you talk about the fun, stupid technical difficulties. My keyboard thing locked up. I've got a touch screen laptop, so I can touch the screen, but my little mouse pad thing locked up, so I don't know what's going on. But anyway,
yes.
Go ahead.
He was talking about he's got a swarm that's 40 feet up in the air, and I thought I gave him what I normally do. You got any suggestions on that? I'm sure he's got his own ideas, but.
Oh, guys, yeah, I'll tell you what my idea is. I literally just did this 2 days ago. On the real high swarm catches, I will go down to the sporting goods store and I buy that heavy twine fishing line. It's almost like it's a braided very small, thin rope, meaning that it's catfish line. And I buy a pack of heavy. I'm talking. I don't remember the ounces, but it's about a fishing weight that's about the size of your thumb. And tie that thing off. Get back away from the tree, and I literally just do that little swing it around in a loop and kind of chuck it up over a tree limb. And you want the heavier weight, not enough to where it's going to knock you out if you go to pull it back and it hits you in the head. But I literally will take it. I'll loop that rope up or a string up over a limb, let that weight pull the string back down, and then I just turn around and tied off a nuke box and pulled it up there to the swarm. And here's the catch: you're lucky if you can get them to go in. I had 5 frames of drawn comb in the box, but they just didn't want to break that cluster. The tree that I had them in was a sweet gum, which wasn't that old. It wasn't a real very round older tree. So I went out and got the tractor. It's got a bucket on the front, and I put it up against the tree, backed up about a foot, and then it just gave the tree a bump. It shook the tree enough that it loosened up the swarm. They went to flying around trying to regather, and the bulk of them went in the box. The queen marched in. Later that afternoon, I went and set the box back down and had the entire swarm in my box.
Now that is
awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. That is great. I think I'm going to try some of that tonight.
Well, wait. I got a story for you, though. This one's great because you reminded me with the fishing line thing. I know a guy. We had when I was part of a local beekeeping group here, we had a fella who lived considerably north of us. He had a similar way up high in a tree. He had the swarm he wanted to catch. Well, he was somewhat of an archer, so he thought he would get his bow and arrow out. And he's firing arrows. He's tying a string so he can get the arrow up over the branch, and he wants it to stay there so he can yank on it, right? And yank these bees down off the branch. He's firing arrows. He goes a couple, one misses, find another one. He's got like 2 or 3 arrows going. He finally gets down and realizes these arrows ain't catching around the limb like he wanted to. He turns around and he finds out his arrows landed sticking in his neighbor's garage roof. So he's got these little lines coming out of these arrows in his neighbor's roof, and he still never got the bees.
Well, yeah, that's definitely one of those I have to pay attention to. Ox, can't hear you, buddy. Go ahead.
Uh-oh. Hey, I think he got muted. We can see you. That happens. Technology's great when it works, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, for the most part. But yeah, he's trying to get us back going on there. But now I turn around and I learned that little trick when we used to do the Beemaster old timers. Had the bud gathering out there at about Middle Mississippi. Old man Bud had come up with that little trick about the weights and the string, and we slung a bunch of string up over some pretty tall pine trees, getting some swarms down. But yeah, there's always been a lot of chat where people say, well, yeah, throw a string over it and pull you up a frame of brood, just a drawn comb frame, and they'll just get right on it and everything else. Well, I'm going to tell you that right now that I'm 50. I'm 1 for 2 or 50% successful in this last week. Now I've done a bunch of them before and done good, but I had another one that happened in my yard and did the same exact thing and got that box up there, and it was like, okay, I need to shake this limb and get these things loose. And it was about 6:30 that evening. Bees had been there all day. Bees don't usually tend to break off and fly away towards the evening, in my experience. They're going to fly, midday at best, but they're pretty much going to hang out. Well, dadgum, if I didn't turn around and get that box up there, took me 45 minutes to get everything set up. Turned around and I took a second weight and string and got it up over and actually hit it right on the button, man. Hit that swarm, busted the ball. Instead of going in my box, they turned around and they flew off.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah. So
Can you hear his box? I can't tell if he can hear us or not. He's smiling. We still can't hear you though, bud. No.
Can you hear me?
Now we can. There we
Yeah.
go.
No, I heard what he said. It's funny because I've heard these stories about people banging on boxes and stuff like that, and that'll let the swarm go in. I was gonna ask you guys if you ever tried that technique before.
Did I try that? Yes.
Yeah.
On my first, the first swarm that got away, well, I seen him come out of the box, so I hollered at my wife. I said, "Go get me a spatula and a cooking pot." And I was standing out in my front yard. She actually videoed it, as funny as it sounds. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just going, I'm ding, 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 trying to make that noise to get him to land. And yeah, it didn't work. But
hey, I'm looking.
Yeah,
I'm looking at your
one of those. Okay.
Actually, I'm looking at your Instagram thing again right now because I was flipping over to see that you've got other stuff besides catching swarms and painting hive boxes, but you've got a lot going on there. What kind of stuff are you doing down there?
Oh man, the beekeeping thing kind of landed in my lap, and I basically started reading. So you know how it is with the beekeeping. You'll start looking into bees, and you'll find out about propolis, royal jelly, honey, then the mead. So pretty much, I just got idle hands, and once I find out about something, I just dive real deep into it, and I might spend 2-3 weeks on it, researching about it, experimenting a little about it. So I pretty much make body products, lip balms, hair balms. I'm working on meads right now. Yeah, I've been doing the meads for about a year now because I want to test it out to see how my first batch tastes compared to what I'm doing now.
Told you, he's got his fingers in everything. He's got sticky fingers when it comes to bees and honey. Is this a T-shirt? Do you got T-shirts?
Yeah. Actually, I do got T-shirts too. I do a little bit of screen printing. I might get a little bit more into it, but the bees take up a lot of time, so that's something I might just get and let somebody else do it because I do a lot of T-shirts for the promotional side of it.
Yeah,
but,
I'm looking at him here. I'm like, he's got everything on here, man. Goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Presentations at gardens. He's doing signs. Yeah. He's got it going on. You are a busy fella on that Instagram. I don't remember the word.
You know what they say. The more busier you stay, the less trouble you get into.
Idle hands and all that. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Shoot,
doesn't stop me from getting in trouble, but
I keep myself nice and tired.
There you go.
As busy as he is, he ought to be a choir boy at the church. He's so good. He ain't got time for trouble.
Right?
Unlike others I know.
Well, I'll say this. Now, Ox, you understand when it comes to making mead, have you ever heard that the day your daughter's born is when you make your first bottle of mead because it won't be good until the day she gets married? So, to really make good mead, you've got to make it now, and you have to wait to drink it for about 20 years.
Man, I don't think I'm gonna ever drink good mead then, because I can't sit on that stuff.
He said, "I'll take okay mead."
For every bottle you make, you have to actually make one for consumption and one for storage. So,
yeah, yep.
Now you break that stuff out for the big deal things.
Yeah, I gave you an excuse to have to spend more money. Go enjoy that.
Yeah. Right. Now I got to say something. My girlfriend, she is a meataholic. Anytime she see me giving anybody a little taste of meat, she give me this look like, you didn't let me taste that one. I'm like, you drink them all at the house.
That's called sampling. They always want that first right to sampling, and the sample turns out, a bottle later.
Yeah. And don't let it suck, because they will definitely let you have it.
This man knows what he's talking about. Now, do you have
Oh
a
my
favorite
goodness.
kind of bee down there? Do you get to play with a lot of variety, or you just take mutts like we? All I get is mutts. I don't buy bees, so I just get whatever I can, and I call them mutts. Do you pick a certain kind of bee? Are you the kind that likes a
Yeah,
particular
yeah.
breed, or do you just get
I'm
whatever?
No, I'm treatment free, all this extra stuff. So I just catch a lot of swarms. If I know a customer that they want me to teach them about bees, I have a couple guys that do sell bees, and I know their genetics. I know it's gentle and stuff like that. So I'll buy bees for them and maybe get a couple for myself. But most of my hives are wild swarms, and I have maybe about three of my hives I've had for since I started keeping bees. It's not the same queen, but it's her genetics. So I just keep using that genetics because she's been successful without, treating or anything. So I just keep that genetic in my apiary.
I love good mutts. Genetic diversity and all that. You don't know what they've been into.
Yeah, yep. That's why people always tell me, "Oh, you should just sell that honey." I said, "You don't know. A lot of times, some of these own homeowners they spray the hive first before they call someone."
Yep. Hard to
Yeah.
risk that. Are you bragging, or are you just informing us?
No, no, no. I'm just informing you. I have no idea
No,
if
no, I
that's
seen
a
him.
hunt.
He's got a sign that said he still has no mouse.
Oh,
Popped up on
you
the
over there
window. I
having a
still have
hard
no
time?
mouse. I'm like, are you bragging or what?
Yeah, something
Does
like that.
that does that mean you can't say we because you ain't got no mouse in your pocket?
I got no mouse in my pocket. So let me ask you this, Ox: Are
All
you
right.
in north side of Florida, or are you towards the south end of Florida?
I started keeping bees in the north side in Jacksonville. Now I'm in Central Florida in Orlando.
Okay. And the reason I ask that, I have the understanding that there's kind of about a line somewhere in the middle of the state where you actually would have the opportunity to deal more with an Africanized traits in your bees, more towards the south than the north. But how do you find that in where you're at?
Squeezies and stuff.
The thing, I think after you hit about maybe a Cocoa Beach area, that's central, south central. The thing is, the Africanized bees need the flowers all year round. Central Florida, we get that November to about February. We get that break. So though they don't make it up here, but in South Florida, they do have that Africanized genetic.
Yeah.
Now, have you
Well,
seen that report down in, what is it, Costa Rica or somewhere like that? They say that the genetics, the Africanized bees that they have down there, because it's pretty much all Africanized now, but that they're getting calmer, and they're trying to do some research on why they're getting the genetics of calming them. They're showing the same other behaviors, except the
Yeah.
aggressiveness seems to be slowing down. Have you heard any of that?
Um, I haven't heard exactly about like South America, but from my experience, I have gotten a hire from a guy one time, and his bees was really really aggressive. He was getting rid of his bees, and his bees was really aggressive. So what I did is I requeened them, and what I think happens is the queen might have that strong Africanized genetic, but when she mate with the wild drones, that might bring her genetic down a little bit. So I'm not 100% sure if that's what it is. But in my experience, when I requeen aggressive hives, they calm down a lot.
I'm, I,
And I
I,
think they remember you too. I think they remember if that person was aggressive with them, they'll remember that and they'll definitely let you have it every time they see you.
um, I don't know if it's the connection that we have, but it sounds like there might be like a little bit. You got like a little bit of an accent on what is that, Bronx or New Jersey or?
Oh, man.
Yeah, he just sounds like a rampant hillbilly that got
I,
lost
you-
somewhere in Alabama. I got him figured out.
I was born in the islands in St. Lucia, raised in the Virgin Islands. I lived in New York. That's where I went to junior high school and high school in New
Okay,
York.
so down in that area, so not too far removed from Bronx. I see the similarities.
No, no, no. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
from Omaha, man. I don't know nothing. We know corn and soybeans. That's what we know. You know, if it doesn't sound like corn or soybeans, it sounds funny to us.
Yeah, I've been to Nebraska before. That's one of them states where it's like corn, 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 grass, soy, corn, corn. Oh, here's a few houses. All right, we're in the next state.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I think he's got. Now, you didn't get too far out west then, because then it just gets down to grass hill, grass hill, grass hill.
Yeah.
Once you get into that western third of the state is grass hill, grass hill. We got the sand hills up in northwest Nebraska, which I plan to move into and run away from my family and take my bees with me and live in a yurt, because that's what I tell them I'm going to do all the time when they get on my nerves. Me and my bees in a yurt in the sand hills.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how well bees were going to do up there. I don't know too many beekeepers that are up in the sand hills, but I heard that some nice prairie land up there too. So I might have to try it. I might have to run away up there, take my bees with me.
So how is your honey production, you would say, in Nebraska? How much times a year you get honey, and what is like your main source out there?
You know, up here it's really a mix, because unless you live in the rural areas, and most of our rural areas, the best you're gonna get is maybe some some alfalfa or anything like that, and there's not a lot of that. So most beekeepers here are urban, and so you're going to get a lot of the wildflower stuff when you do. I've seen people average anywhere between 50 to 75 pounds on average on mediocre years, good years. But then we've had a couple like bomb years where we got rain nonstop until June, and then all of a sudden between the end of June and August, 200, 300 pounds of honey, couple times, in about the last, 10 years, 8 years. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Florida, we have it a lot easier down here. I see these northern beekeepers, and it just look hard dealing with that snow-covered hive for 4 months out the year.
Oh, don't remind me.
That's real difficult.
Yappy, you get snow like what, for a week?
No. If I get a snow, it's either going to be, oh wow, look, a snowflake. All right, see you next year. Or or I get like 2 or 3 inches of snow, and then it comes right behind it where it turns to nothing but ice. See, there's no snow equipment here, so anybody that is out at work, if it starts snowing in the middle of the day, everybody's got to get home, so they drive on it. Well, they pack it nice and good. It turns to ice, and then if you're still out, by the time the sun goes down, you're pretty much going to die, because the roads are nothing but a sheet of ice, and nobody can drive on it.
Now, Yappy, see, he has to deal with the after effect of that, because not only is he a bee guy, he's a firefighter. So he gets called out on them rescue calls where, you got these people stranded on, little bit of ice down there, and everybody's sprawled out.
Yeah, I'm in the land.
So do people call? Because when I first started, that was one of the things I did. I would used to go to fire stations or police stations and let them know, like, hey, I'm a beekeeper, and I do bee removals, and I didn't get much calls from the firefighters themselves. So I don't know. Are you, as a firefighter, do you get people calling you a lot?
No, see, the thing is I actually turn around and will I take my contact information to their dispatchers, because the dispatchers are the ones that get the calls, and then they farm out to somebody to come and get them. So, yeah, if you just take it to a fire station, yeah, you may not get as far as it unless you take it to a dispatch center.
Got you. That makes sense.
Party going on out there.
Yeah, he done found the hot fun.
He's traveling around, bopping. We're watching this guy's camera, and he's just like he's going in the store. He's looks like the Copacabana he's in now in the background. I'm getting jealous because I'm just sitting in my workshop.
Yeah, my girlfriend. We just came back into Orlando, so she want to eat, and she's over here whispering at me and trying to have a full conversation.
Leave them old bee guys alone. I hear it. I know it. My wife does the same thing. Except I'm the old bee guy. Well, we only got a couple minutes here, so actually, I want to tell you thanks for coming on the podcast, and I like I said, I always keep track of what you're doing there, and should maybe one of these days we get you back, and Yappy, we always love to have you on here, buddy. Although Yappy, you took over our little buddies down there in Kiwi Land. You took over one of their podcasts, didn't you?
Man, I kind of hijacked the Kiwi Mana podcast one day. I was talking with Gary and Margaret, and I said, I got an idea for your podcast, and they were like, "Oh, this is going to be good. What you thinking?" I said, "Why don't you turn the keys over to me and let me host a show?" And they kind of chuckled and they went, "Okay, who do you think you're going to want to interview for this, takeover of our podcast?" And I said, "I want to interview Gary and Margaret. They put on this podcast, and they're from New Zealand." And they both started laughing. And I said, "Listen, you interview everybody under the sun. I mean, they've interviewed just about every big name beekeeper out there that's done something." And I said, "But nobody knows who you guys are. You're just the Kiwi people from the Waitaki Ranges," I said, "that interviews podcasters. Why don't we get to know you guys?" And they were like, "We love it." So I got to hijack them. Yes,
we did. Cool. We got her on record saying banana.
Very much so. Very much so.
I gotta go check them out. Kiwi, I never heard of them.
They're in
Kiwi
New Zealand.
Mana.
In New Zealand. Oh man.
They call it. They call their podcast Kiwi Mana.
Kiwi Mana. I'm gonna have to check them out because I love me some leatherwood honey.
Oh, now see, I bet you Gary will know about that left and right.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I actually asked them about on their podcast was some of the different honeys, and they actually have a tree that at a certain time when this particular tree blooms, it puts out a poisonous honey to human consumption.
Really?
So, and they had the berries on it are even poisonous, and they had a guy that they ended up having to take to hospital because he was out in the woods hunting, and he come across this tree with these berries and had ate some, and it made him deathly ill.
Oh wow! Serious.
That's how bad it is. Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. Well, they literally they regulate the seasons of when you can actually harvest honey in New Zealand, so there's no chance of the bees collecting this certain honey and it getting mixed in with the consumption honey.
That's hardcore now.
Yes,
they're almost as bad as Australia. Everything down there kill you. All right, guys, we're at the wrap up point. So it's been fun. We did it again. We got our Beehooligans, and we got a new Beehooligan. Well, maybe he'll join us more regularly. Who knows? He might get done with this and say, "Man, remind me not to take that guy's phone call again." But I'm glad you guys made it. We had some fun. Got to meet a new bee guy in Florida. Ox Beekeeping on Instagram. Check his Instagram page out, people. He has got like boatloads of stuff on there that's full of bees and meat and T-shirts and all kinds of cool stuff. So I see that, and I had to talk to this fella, and I thought you'd appreciate that. Yep.
I definitely do. It's always great to meet new people and continue support to fellow beekeepers.
All right. Well, Hey, everybody. Hey, go ahead, Ox. Got any last words in there?
I was just going to say the pleasure was mine. I always like talking to beekeepers because I pretty much learned from the internet. So I like actually asking questions. It's only been 4 years, so I still think I'm pretty new. But thank you guys for inviting me.
Oh, we're so glad to have you here. We had fun. I had fun. I don't know.
I did too. Glad to meet you, Ox. I friended you on Instagram. Looking forward to more of your work.
Definitely, yeah. I'll look for you guys too. Send me the information. I will definitely connect.
Absolutely.
Sounds great.
All right, folks, and that wraps up another episode of the Be Smart Beekeeping Project Beehooligans podcast. That's still a mouthful. I think I'm gonna be like the Avengers and find a way to shrink it down to just like an acronym or something. But in the meantime, folks, don't ever forget, be smart.